So in Surah 20, verse 71, the Pharaoh threatens to crucify his court magicians. What's the problem? Crucifixion wouldn't exist for another 14 to 1500 years. But whoever was writing the Quran didn't know that. They made a mistake.
It's you who made the mistake because you're ignorant. When you're thinking about crucifixion, you're thinking about somebody being put on an actual cross. For crucifixion,
that's what
in the broader sense
means.
of the word.
How dare you, Coley, think about crucifixion when it says crucifixion? You should be thinking about something different. What are you thinking?
My bad.
That's why Jehovah's Witnesses from the Christian tradition don't believe Jesus was even put on a cross, rather on a stake. This type of crucifixion did exist in the time of the Pharaoh. Let's verify that. ChatGPT, did crucifixion exist in the time of the Pharaoh, meaning when people were crucified on a stake?
Yes, there were methods of execution during the time of the Pharaoh that involved something similar to being placed on a stake, which can be considered a form of crucifixion.
Thank you. So, buddy, it's not the Quran that's wrong. It's you that's wrong. Educate yourself.
All right, Cole, he got you because the Quran said crucifixion, but it meant just being put on a stake. You didn't think about that, did you?
I never thought about it. I thought it was so funny listening to ChatGPT. Even ChatGPT is like trying to like make it work. Like it's like it's similar. It like can be if you look into the root word. It like literally like salaba it's like a cross. It's to be put on a cross. This word in the Arabic is used in a lot of different circumstances, and they're all based on crosses, like at a cross section or a cross necklace or things like that. Like I don't know, just the idea. They don't seem to understand that crucifixion is a specific form of execution. And I made a similar response where I said it'd be like saying that the Quran says that he put them to death by the electric chair, and then what he really did was just tie them to a post outside during a storm until they got struck by lightning. Like it's not the same thing because it's a specific method of execution.
Well, I mean, I want to pull up ChatGPT here because I just put the same thing in there. And so I did not get what he got. Like, so again, you don't get these short little explanations from ChatGPT when you just ask it questions, unless you prompt it to say, just answer briefly like a Muslim would or something. Like, no, the short answer, crucifixion, as we know from the Greco-Roman world, did not exist in the time of pharaohs, but executions by impalement or suspensions on stakes did. So then it goes through down all these issues. You can look at that. So if you mean crucifixion being executed on a stake or a cross left to die slowly, then no, that did not exist in Pharaoh's time. If you mean crucifixion being put on a stake or pole or punishment as a warning, then yes, that did exist in pharaonic times.
There's nothing in here that suggests anything like what he's trying to argue for. I also, by the way, I looked up the Arabic word. I don't know Arabic that well, but every single entry I could find for the Arabic word, there was no instances where it was impalement.
Every entry that it's used in the Quran is referring directly to crucifixion, including Jesus's, lack of being crucified. Chapter 18, verse 86, the Quran says that the sun sets in a spring of murky water.
I also like how he has blurred out your TikTok thing. We gotta protect the Ummah. We cannot let them be deceived. And maybe one of his followers could go, oh, let me just go see what this guy has said to get another perspective. Nope, can't have that. We got to hide this stuff as much as possible. The insecurity from a lot of these Muslims.
I mean, think about that. We're pretty darn straightforward. Exactly who we're responding to. What we don't care if you go check these guys out. Their arguments are stupid.
Right. They know the avalanche of apostasy is coming, and that's why they're in panic mode.
That is a mistake.
Maybe this gentleman is unable to read. But right behind you, the Quran does not say the sun sets in murky water. The verse is on your green screen behind you. It says that Dhul Qarnayn reached a point where the sun appeared, read it right behind you, to be setting in the spring of murky water.
That's a deceptive translation as well.
Yep.
Yeah, really.
Oh, yeah. It says he found it. Yeah, most translations just say he found it.
I found 14 tafsirs. I'm sure you can pull them up. I found so many that they all think it's exactly what it says.
The sunset hits the horizon, appeared to him. It's not saying the sun sets in murky water.
It appeared to him.
If I go to the beach in San Diego and I see the Pacific Ocean and I see the sun is setting in the ocean, I don't mean the sun's going into the ocean. When they say he rode into the sunset, it doesn't mean he actually rode his horse into a sun. No, this is where it's describing the location and how it seems when the sun is setting. When we say the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, we don't mean that the sun physically comes out of the east part of the earth and falls into the western part of the earth. No,
himself right
this
here.
is where
He
it
is
appears
burying
what
himself.
we see visually, and that's what the Quran is saying, and it's in the verse right behind you.
The story.
Yeah, Coley, it's in the English right behind you.
Yeah,
How dare you?
Again, a deceptive English translation. Let me just give everyone, I'll give you 10 translations. 4 Orthodox Muslims, 2 more heretical Muslims, and 4 non-Muslim translations. So, till when he reached this is Pickthall, till when he reached the setting place of the sun. What did he reach? He reached the setting place of the sun. So that's one mistake. He found it setting in a muddy spring. So there's the setting place of the sun. There's a place where the sun sets. And he found it setting in a muddy spring. He found it setting in a muddy spring. Yusuf Ali, until when he reached the setting of the sun, he found it set in a spring of murky water. Nothing about appearing. It says he found it. He found it. Hilali Khan, until when he reached the setting place of the sun, he found it setting in a spring of black, muddy, or hot water. M.H. Shakir, until when he reached the place where the sun set, he found it going down into a black sea. Sher Ali, until when he reached the setting place of the sun, he found it setting as if in a pool of murky water. There you get that's the Ahmadi translation where they try to fix it. As if. There's no as if in Arabic. Khalifa, when he reached the far west, they just say the far west, he found the sun setting in a vast ocean. So the sun, he tries to correct the first part and then leaves. The sun sets in a vast ocean. Arbery, until when he reached the setting of the sun, he found it setting in a muddy spring. Palmer, until when he reached the setting of the sun, he found it setting in a black, muddy spring. Rodwell, until when he reached the setting of the sun, he found it to set in a miry fount. And Sale, until he came to the place where the sun setteth, and he found it to set in a spring of black mud. The question is, if this is just saying, oh, it appeared to it, it looked like it, why is everyone saying he found it there? He found it. He found it setting in a muddy spring. Why is everyone saying that?
Buried.
Yeah, it's when they discovered how the world actually works, they had to start changing it. Well, it can't mean what all the early commentators said.
I put one hadith in the chat, which, well, I said he's burying himself. Sheikh Uthman just claimed to understand this better than his own prophet did because his prophet explains. His own prophet explains.
I was sitting behind the messenger of Allah. This is Sunan Abu Dawud 4002. Sitting behind the messenger of Allah who was riding a donkey while the sun was setting. He asked, do you know where this sets? I replied, Allah and his apostle know best. He said, it sits in a spring of warm water.
Hey, anything about it appearing that way? No, they don't even see where it sets. He's asking us, hey, do you know where the sun goes when it sets? Do you know where it goes? So, no, you're the prophet, you know.
And Allah, he knows too.
Yeah. It sets in a spring of warm water. It sets in a spring of warm water. There's nothing about it appearing that way. There's nothing about dual Qarnayn. This is Muhammad explaining to one of his followers where the sun sets. And he says it sets in a spring of water.